All right, you're listening to WSOU. I am Nick, and I am here with Silent Planet vocalist Garrett Russell. How have you been, Garrett?
I've been incredibly well. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. It's as we just mentioned. It's been a while since we last talked, and there's a lot that's happened since then that I wanted to talk to you about. The first of which we were just briefly mentioning is you guys are on a pretty big tour coming up with For Today, Fit for a King, Gideon, Phineas. I think I think I got everyone, but it's a pretty big tour. And I know you guys are all friends and everything, so I know you're probably really looking forward to that.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be cool. Every single one of those bands, I would say we know very well. So, and we've toured with all those bands before, also. So it's definitely something where we kind of go into it, looking forward to the shows and who comes out to the shows, but also just kind of looking forward to seeing our friends again, because in our kind of line of work, you only see people when you're out on tour, as far
Right.
as other bands.
Now, how has it been? Because you guys have been progressively, starting to get on bigger and bigger tours. Like I would say, this is a pretty big tour. And then you guys did a short run with For Today not too long ago over the summer, which was mostly smaller venues. How does it feel,
Yeah.
that progression that you guys have been making?
It feels really great and really fun, and to be honest with you, we're already booking 2016 tours.
Wow.
And I can't give too many details for several reasons, but
Right.
I can tell you that as far as getting out on tours that are going to be really fun and going to involve, I think, even more kind of unique genres and styles of bands. But
Okay.
I'm really excited for what we have in 2016 as well.
Awesome. And I thought the coolest thing was when I saw you guys in Jersey a couple months ago. You said
Yeah.
the last time you guys were there, you played in front of, I think you said like 2 or 3 people. And I
Yeah.
mean, where we were, that room was pretty full. So how does that feel in a year's time, going from 2 to a full room?
Yeah, it feels surreal, and I really meant that. It's not like I guess a lot of maybe vocalists have like pre-rehearsed things that
Right.
they like want to say before their set. That in my case, it's certainly not pre-rehearsed. That's the truth.
Yeah.
There was it was probably the most miserably attended show of our life.
Wow.
I'll never forget. Was it? I think it was called like Champion Bar and Grill, or
Oh, yeah, Champs Bar and Grill.
Champs, yeah,
Yeah.
Champs Bar and Grill, and it was on this like Sleeping Giant tour that we were on. But
Okay.
Sleeping Giant didn't play that show, so instead it was This or the Apocalypse.
Oh, okay.
Was headlining that show, and I just recall, there was like a lot of local bands. I was so sick that I missed most of the local bands because I was at a clinic trying to get antibiotics. But
Oh, wow.
there's a bunch of local bands, and then there's probably like 30, 40 people watching the local band, and then we went on, and 40 people became 2 people.
Wow.
Like no one wanted to watch us.
Wow.
It was like wow. So we played for like a few people, and I'll never forget the few people that went there. I after the show, I was just like, "Thank you." Like without you, if you wanted to stand outside, we'd actually be playing to 0 people.
Yeah.
Which would be kind of funny, I guess. Kind of a cool thing in a way. But so, anyways, I just appreciated that so much. That those people were like, wanted to watch us. But and then, the change from that to what happened a couple months ago is pretty surreal. I was actually thinking about it yesterday, and
Oh, okay.
it's crazy, man. It really is cool to know that maybe people want to listen to our music. It'll never stop being cool to me. And the moment that it does stop being cool to me, please slap me across the face and tell me to quit. But,
Right.
yeah.
And I think the cool thing is the people that I've encountered and, seen online are, really diehard about like what you guys do. And how does that, I know you guys call them lovers is what you guys call your
Yeah.
fans. How does that feel to have people so devoted to what you do?
It feels It feels like a relationship. I think is what I would say. It's,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say that it's always been incredibly surprising. Like if people come out to shows and they're really excited about what we're doing,
Right.
it's very meaningful. But I think I would be lying if I said it was an insane surprise, because like a relationship, I think the growth of this band has been somewhat steady and somewhat, something that I can sort of track in my brain.
Right.
It's not like we put up some cover song of like some pop song and all of a sudden tons of people want to go watch us play that cover song.
Right.
Or something that's has happened to different bands before. I think for us, we've been touring and we've just really been wanting to share in life with people, and it's really relationships that have driven this. And I think that my biggest fear would be ever becoming a band of popularity to where it's difficult to connect with people. It's difficult to get off stage and just kind of chat with people about how they're doing, or where it's just impossible to recognize people because there's too many faces or something. That would really suck.
Right.
And that's something that I don't want to happen. But as far as where we're at right now, it's like a really perfect kind of level for relationships, where we're always meeting new people and seeing new people, but it's never too much. But it's been really fun, and very thankful to all the work of our team around us. Solid State and Corey, our manager, have also been a huge part of everything.
Right. And I mean, you guys have, stretched across the ocean. You guys just did a Asian tour, which, you guys haven't been around that long. And it's incredible that, already, because, sometimes it takes bands, a few years before they start reaching out overseas and stuff. So I thought it was really awesome that, in such a short time, you guys were already going international. And I know I wanted you to talk a little bit about the whole Asian tour, because I know you guys had like a lot of troubles with getting there in the first place and, while you were there. But I know it was also a really great experience from what I saw you guys post online. So if you want to tell me a little bit about that, would be awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we initially got offered to come to Japan. And that was offered a long time ago, probably March or something.
Okay.
And then, fast forward all the way to June, and we're, ready to go out to Japan. And actually, this was July. Fast forward to July, and last minute, this Chinese promoter was like, hey, you're going to be in Japan, want to do China. And so Japan was only 5 shows. And I was like, sure. How many shows? And he said, how many shows do you want?
Oh, wow.
And I was like, well, we can do up to 11 shows, and then we have to fly back to New York for iMatter. And so he was like, okay. And then a day later, he emailed me with 11 shows.
Wow.
And I was just astounded by how this guy could have so much kind of control over such a large country.
Yeah.
It really kind of blows my mind. So, yeah, anyways, that was really exciting to be working with this dude who can do that kind of a thing, put it together so quickly. So, yeah, he was awesome. Paul, the guy who we went to China with, was super cool and really just, yeah, I mean, we're so stoked to have been able to do that. And it was really fun. It was extremely exhausting, China especially. Japan felt kind of more like, how it would be to tour in America.
Mm-hmm.
China, every day you're walking for a mile to a train station, then you're hopping on a bullet train for 8 hours, which, by the way, those bullet trains, can go up to 250 miles per hour. So you're hopping on this bullet train, and then you're on a bullet train for 9 hours, which pretty much means you're traveling the distance of California all the way to Georgia or something.
That's crazy.
So every day you're zigzagging around China at a speed which we don't even comprehend in America. And then you're getting off the train, and every city kind of looks the same as the next because you're in China, and the government tries to make everything look the same.
Right.
And you're meeting awesome people. The shows are so much fun. The kids who come out to these shows are like, in America, we're obviously oversaturated with shows. You know, kids pick and choose what shows they want to go to because most of the time they're being begged to go to shows like 20 times a week. You know, there's so many shows, and you go to China, and they don't get a lot of shows at all. Mm-hmm. So you know, when a show comes through, they're genuinely excited about it, you know, and they want to go out to the show. And it really was an honor to play for these people. And I think it really made us, honestly, a better band, a better live band, because when we played shows for these folks, I realized, like, you know, like there would be no local band. So we were the only show.
Wow.
We were the only part of the show. Yeah. And so I felt the weight of, like, let's give them a long show. And so we'd play all of the Night God Slept, and they would want more songs. Right. So we were trying to dig up songs from our old EPs and stuff.
Wow.
It was really fun.
That's pretty cool.
Really, yeah, it was. And just kind of funny for being a band with only one full-length album.
Right.
To be doing that, because it's like we don't have as much material, you know, as we would have liked. So like I said, we were trying to dig up some old tracks and stuff, which was kind of funny.
That's pretty cool, though. And I know you guys had some troubles getting over there and getting around. How did you get through all that?
Yeah, we lost a lot of money. We know that we had a ticket booked from Tokyo to Shanghai. And we were stoked because the ticket was only like, I think like $1,200 or something.
Wow.
So the plane ticket was really cheap, and it's only a 2-hour flight. So it kind of makes sense. And then we show up there to do the baggage, and they ask us to put the baggage on the scale, and they weigh it, and they're like, it's going to be this many American dollars. And it was like $2,000 something.
Wow.
And we were like, no, like, we cannot afford that, you know? Yeah. And they were like, okay, then you can get on your flight. And we were like terrified because, you know, obviously if we don't catch the flight, we don't catch the 11 shows of China that we have to play.
Right.
So, we paid partially with Japanese currency, and we were pulling out our cards, and it was just kind of a mess and kind of devastating for us as a bunch of poor homeless dudes. We were like, okay. But yes, so stuff like that can kind of happen, you know, when you're in Asia. There's just a language barrier and a misunderstanding. Well, in this case, it wasn't a misunderstanding. The only thing was that they just were like, hey, let's go rob those Americans. So we got robbed. It was overall really incredible, and we really learned a lot from the different cultures, and it really, I think, drew us together as a band.
Right. And now after that, I'm assuming you guys want to go to a lot of other places, I'm sure.
Yeah, we really do. I guess you'll be the first. This will be the first, I guess, quote unquote announcement. We haven't told anyone, but we're doing a full European tour in December.
Oh, okay.
So it's starting, I think, in the United Kingdom, and then it kind of moves around from there. But yeah, we're doing that, and I'm super, super thrilled. So,
that should be awesome.
Yeah. Very, very excited to see Europe. I imagine, you know, it being something that I can't even imagine because it's going to be, you know, Europe is such, you know, small countries just all kind of bunched together. So
exactly.
There's going to be a lot of shows in a lot of different countries, unlike Japan and China, where you at least know what country you're in. So
right.
It'll be kind of a trip, probably waking up in the van and being in a different country. So I'm looking forward to that.
Because I know that's a lot of people's favorite place to tour, especially, you know, a lot of the American bands love going over to Europe.
You know, I've heard that. I've definitely heard that. I have no idea what to expect. I do know, you know, as a band, we really do kind of have a love of different culture, and obviously our songs kind of take place in different cultures and stuff. So for us, it's always been cool to learn about different cultures. So maybe next time I talk about them on the next album, I can at least have been there.
Exactly.
Because, I wrote Darkstring Hibakusha 2 years ago, never imagining that the band getting to this place where we're kind of getting invited to play other countries,
Yeah.
And now that it's like that, I mean, I'm honestly just like kind of in awe, like, wow, we have this ability to go play in Japan, and I wrote the lyrics for Darkstring Hibakusha 2 years ago.
Right.
Never. I mean, our band couldn't even get on American tours. Like we were trying to pull favors and stuff just to like be able to play on any tour in America. Let alone play in Japan was unheard of for us. So pretty incredible being able to perform. Because I don't know if you know, but we performed Darkstring Hibakusha on the anniversaries of Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Yeah, I saw that you posted, I think, on Instagram or something about that. I thought that was pretty incredible.
Yeah. And that was like doing that there was pretty unreal, and it was kind of cool because actually that was the one song that the Japanese kids actually really knew from us.
Okay.
So I think that I don't know, like perhaps the Japanese promoters had shown them like, hey, look.
Yeah.
This is a very relevant song, and obviously kind of a difficult topic because that is, obviously white Americans dropping that bomb on them. So
yeah,
that's a tough topic to breach because it's like, it's something to talk about, but it's also a place of where our society hurt their society. So kind of interesting situation there.
Right. And do you think that's maybe why the album kind of hit so fast with a lot of people? It was because of, the stuff that you guys talked about? Because, from, not a lot of bands are putting stuff out like you guys did with that last album, with really getting deep on a lot of different topics and, including so many different references. I still think that's the coolest thing, that, you guys have all of the little references and the notes at the bottom, of what the lyrics were references to. Do you think that kind of, maybe really got with people?
That's an interesting question.
Because it was just so different, like it's just like, oh, like,
from my experience of touring, what I think that, kind of going over subject material like that, what I think that did for us is I think it sort of kind of widened the potential listeners of our band and the potential with, the listener base for us is, I think, maybe more eclectic than some bands. Because for us, the people that come out to shows, I think, sometimes are driven by the music and the ideas more so than the image or sort of like, I want to go mosh,
Right.
And so because of that, I think, the folks that come out to shows, we have had a lot of, like 35-year-old dudes be like, hey, I'm actually a history teacher, and I brought a couple of my students because we kind of connected over the music. Like that kind of thing has happened before. And I'm sure that might be a little bit unique to our situation. I mean, I've never been in other kind of beat down hardcore bands, but I imagine that probably doesn't happen too much. Right. So I think that, what it's done is definitely not got us some like massive listener base. Cause at the end of the day, what the music that we're making, the lyrics we're making, it is what's on our heart, and not necessarily, we're not writing stuff thinking like, we're going to get a massive crowd of 16-year-old girls at Warped Tour to come jam this. Because, at the end of the day, God bless 16-year-old girls, but I haven't met a ton of, I don't think that particular fan base, which a lot of bands obviously try to target, I don't think that particular group of people has been, hugely interested in what we do. But I am also, I mean, there are also 16-year-old girls who listen to us, and I'm like super stoked. But I'm sure you kind of know what I'm saying. It's
of course.
Not something that we,
it's not the main target
all the time.
Right.
It isn't. And because of that, I wouldn't say that our band is by any means, extremely popular yet. We're growing, and, maybe one day we'll be a headliner like For Today. Who knows? It's one of those things where anytime you kind of choose to make music that you want to make and write the lyrics that you want to write, you kind of take a risk, you know?
Exactly.
And you kind of, you don't know if no one or someone or everyone will like it, you know? And right now, I guess we're somewhere between. We know some people can like it. That happens at some point for bands. But I've often seen bands break up, and I've often thought about how difficult that would just be for me on a personal level.
Right, because they're like your friends. They're more than that, almost.
I'm not going to see a lot of these people anymore, you know, that has been coming out to these shows. And that would genuinely be a very difficult, like, experience for me to sort of, you know, I don't know, say goodbye to people like that.
Right.
That would be so rough. And I'm sure it is very rough, and that's why it seems so emotional when you see bands, you know, breaking up and stuff. Because there's a lot going through their heads, I'm sure.
Right. And I can tell that, like, you guys are definitely, you know, this is definitely, like, what you want to do. Like, you know, usually some bands, you know, you can kind of see that maybe there's some people that clash, or, you know, there's one guy that's not quite as into it as everyone else. But I definitely see with you guys, there's, you know, you guys are all really into what you're doing. And I know, you know, I've seen, you know, all of you guys on Twitter and everything. You guys are just so thankful and just really into what you're doing. And I think that's, you know, a lot more bands should be, you know, the way you guys are kind of looking at things.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you saying that, because we are thankful, I think, and I think it is a genuine thing. I know it is for me, and I'm pretty sure I can speak for my dudes, because it's just like, yeah, you know, being able to do this is just like, it's cool, and it's like, we joke, it's like, I don't know what else we could do, you know, like,
right.
We're not extremely hireable people. It's not like we have our lives together.
Right.
I guess some of us are semi-hireable. But yeah, anyway, not looking for jobs.
But kind of going back, I wanted to also talk about, I know you guys, at least I saw you posted the other day that you started writing again for the next album. And I saw you did say something about they were going to be like kind of sad from the post you had. You have any info on what you've been up to with that?
Yeah, you know, I guess I can give you kind of tidbits of what we're thinking about. So, yeah, right now we're writing our next album. We've been writing, but we really kind of hit like this. We hit this kind of, I don't know, this kind of break point or something, and we have like so much written now for the next album, which I'm really thrilled about. So the next album is going to continue off of the story that was going on in Depth 2.
Okay.
And it's going to involve mental health. It's going to kind of be the primary sort of theme surrounding this. And it's going to be based in an Enneagram panopticon. So I'm just going to say that, which is, I guess if someone wanted to look that up, it's going to be a panopticon, and it's going to be based on the Enneagram. And everything's going to move from it's kind of a Jungian archetype Enneagram. And it's I think going to be, I guess, I don't know, I joke, but I guess our music is often fairly sad. And I guess I can say that you know, I sort of imagine our music being, both musically and lyrically, kind of having sad themes, hopefully redemptive and hopeful, but I think there is a lot of like kind of sadness with, I guess, what we address with our music.
Right.
So probably encountering some sadness.
Now, you guys had a lot of guest vocalists on the previous album. Are you going to do that again this album, or do you want it to be more just you guys?
There will be guest vocalists, probably not to that extent. I always tell people, keep in mind with our last album, it was written over a long span of time. And so it was kind of like, you know, we would go into studio and I'd be like, hey, you should be on this song, and then 6 months later we'd be doing a song that would also end up on the same album. And I'd be like, Joel, dude, you want to be on this track? And Joel would be like, yeah, for sure. And so then Joel would be on a song, and then I'd be like, oh gosh, it'd be so fun to have Sean do a part, so.
That would be really cool if there was a couple here and there. I'm excited to hear definitely what you guys have in store from the first album. Do you think that, you have to reach certain expectations now since you have the first album out? Do you think there's, people have certain, expectations that you have to meet? Or are you just kind of, I'm going to write what I want to write?
I think that people definitely, I think, would expect, including, I think I expect this of myself, but I think people would expect from Silent Planet that they're gonna hear a story.
Mm-hmm.
I think people would expect. I think that people would expect to be sort of challenged as far as things go. How would I say, conceptually, that people would expect to maybe hear some stuff that like is politically different than where they are, or they would hear something maybe theologically that's like, I don't know if I agree with that. People would expect sort of to be offended by a certain extent,
Mm-hmm.
which is something that we definitely, I guess, do. And yeah, I think people would expect, the lyrics to be conceptual. That is to, that not every song would just be about a different, like, personal story of mine, but would sort of bring them on different journeys, because that's what we did last time, and we enjoyed doing it, and we openly did it. So I guess, folks might want us to keep doing that, and we would love to keep doing that. We'll definitely happily oblige.
Right. Okay. Good to know. I saw you were also, you guys filmed a music video the other day.
Yeah, we did. This is another thing I don't even think we've announced, but I'll tell you. It's for Depths 2.
Oh, okay.
And I'm really, really excited about it. Actually, I think, we're still figuring out some of the, post-production stuff, but yeah, it's coming together, and I think we'll probably have it out relatively soon.
Cool.
We've always thought with music videos, bands kind of hype up music videos, and they say, like, we'll have a music video for you in 3 days. We'll have a music video for you in 2 days. And I always was kind of like, just show me the music video. I don't really care. That's just always how I kind of felt. And so in the same right, I guess we sort of, we're just going to kind of put it out there. I don't think we're going to hype it up that much because, ultimately it's not like a show where I'm trying to get people to come out to the show. It's like they're either going to watch it or not once I put it out.
Yeah, no, so. all bands do that all the time, and I don't understand it. They do like they hype it up so much that it's almost ridiculous. They do like a preview to the preview of the actual video. It's
they get so crazy with it, and I never really saw why. I think our good friends in Being is an Ocean
mm-hmm.
Put out a music video one time, and they just put it out, They just had it done, they put it up. And I remember that they how they didn't hype it up, and they just put it out. And I've always really paid attention to what they do, especially on a marketing level, because Tyler, their guitarist who markets them and does a lot of the stuff, he's an absolute genius. He's genuinely a genius. And I've always kind of paid attention to how he does different things.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that they didn't do that, and I kind of started thinking about it, and I was like, why do bands do that? So, I don't think that's something we're going to do with this, but we are going to put it out, and I am very excited to put it out.
Okay, cool. That's good to know, because I'm always excited. I like music videos, and is this more? Can you maybe give us like a little insight of like what the video is? It like is like a theme to the video? Is it like because sometimes bands do the videos where it's just the band playing and then some have the concept in the background.
That.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a concept going on. I think it follows pretty heavily kind of me because of sort of both the musical feel of this song as well as kind of follows like the lyrics, the movement sort of out of the house that I'm in and into this forest clearing where I see that all the kind of evil and all the suffering and all the confusion that I've been witnessing in these lyrics, that these women are connected and that these stories are connected, and I'm still even trying to make sense of it as I'm talking about it, but that instead of God being asleep to the evil in this world, that actually I've been asleep to evil.
Oh, wow.
That humans have been, the night God slept is more appropriately like the night that humans slept on other humans, is almost the story, so to speak. But, so that's sort of, where the night God slept goes with that whole theme and sort of what I'm approaching in the lyrics,
Yeah, definitely I see that. Now, also, I just wanted to, because we'll start wrapping up soon, I wanted your thoughts on the whole Under Oath reunion, because I know, if I'm correct, if I read the liner notes right, you did make a reference to them in, I think it's First Wake.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. We're just huge Under Oath fans. We really, really enjoy Under Oath's music.
Definitely. And I'm really excited for that. I never thought they would come back.
Yeah, I think a lot of people didn't, honestly. They when they broke up as a band, they really broke up as a band. It wasn't a marketing ploy.
Yeah.
They were like, I'm sure you've heard the interviews with them and stuff. They were very done.
Yeah.
Obviously they were a band for so long, and so many of them were married with kids. I don't think that's crazy that they were done.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they were done as a band, and really didn't think they would do anything else again. And I guess just some doors open. I know for Chris, he has a government job, and they gave him like 30 days off or something crazy like that. So I know for Chris, like that was a big part of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, really cool. Really cool.
All right. Well, we'll start to wrap it up. So is there any last things you want to add?
I would say, thank you if you're listening to this. Like, sincerely, we're so thankful that we've been able to do life together in some way, shape, and form with you. And whatever happens next, we definitely hope that we're going to be that we're going to be seeing you at a show. That we're going to be getting to know one another, because at the end of the day, what we do is pretty simple. We make music and tell stories, and for some crazy reason, you choose to listen to our music and stories. So thank you so much, and hopefully we'll be seeing you in October if you're listening to this in America, because we'll probably be not too far from you.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Garrett.
Dude, thank you. Seriously, thank you so much for having me, and